Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. So, over the last 2 days, you must have heard, if you're a basketball fan or especially a Laker fan, about the Demar DeRozan trade rumors to the Lakers. Now, first of all, my opinion on this trade is, I think, I think this would be a big trade for the Lakers. It would be a big trade. They'd have LeBron, AD, and of course Demar DeRozan then. But there's a lot of pros and cons to this trade. So in this video, we're going to get into the pros and cons of the trade, and at the end of the video, we'll decide should the Lakers go for this trade and get Demar DeRozan. So Demar DeRozan's 1920 stats with the San Antonio Spurs, which is basically last year's stats. He averaged 22 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, and 5.6 assists per game, which is pretty good, especially the assists for a shooting guard. Probably one of the higher assist averages for a shooting guard in the NBA. And of course, he's a scorer. And that's what the Lakers needed last year. They didn't have a third scorer. Kyle Kuzma was meant to be a third scorer. Never really happened, Rondo was ended up being the third best player in the Lakers championship run last year, but we can't keep relying on Rondo, especially that it's pretty much only playoff Rondo. So we need a regular season, and we need, just take some pressure off everyone. Because especially if Rondo leaves in free agency, we're gonna need that third guy. Anyway, so DeRozan, he's just gone 31 years old, 6'6". He shot 53% from the field last year, and mid ranges is his bread and butter. That's what DeMar DeRozan does. He doesn't, and then again, next stat, he only shot 25.7% from the 3-point line, and he shot less than one 3-pointer a game with San Antonio last year. So 3-pointers just aren't in his game. He doesn't shoot them, and that's one of the problems some people are having with the Lakers going for him. Because the Lakers, they need more 3-point shooters, and DeRozan won't help that. It'll help clog up the paint if anything. If the Lakers have a start lineup of this, and this hypothetical lineup, the Avery Bradley, who just got new agents, we might just opt out. But I should say Avery Bradley to point, DeMar DeRozan shooting guard, LeBron small forward, AD power forward, and if re-signed Dwight Howard as a center. Now, there's not a lot of 3-point shooting in that team. AD and LeBron are improving 3-point shoot, which for LeBron especially at his age, continuing to improve. I'm a big LeBron fan, as you know. Big up to LeBron for that. And Avery Bradley, he can hit the three, but he's not the 3-pointers aren't in his game. They can hit it. But DeRozan and Dwight, they wouldn't go near 3-pointers. So if they did get DeRozan, they probably would have to go for Serge Ibaka in free agency as a center, because they just need to stretch the floor a bit. It'd be too clogged up. With all the players, the paint will get clogged, and it'll make it harder for people like DeRozan to get his scores. And he shot 84.5% from the free throw line, which is good. Always good, You never have too much good free throw shooters in your team. Now the trade would definitely include Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma has to go regardless, because he's gonna be out of contract next summer. He's a free agent, and he's gonna probably demand a max contract, which the Lakers can't give him, and they probably shouldn't give him, looking at last year's performances. So I'm all for Kyle Kuzma going. Danny Green in there, and he's got an expiring contract, but he doesn't have to go this season. Kuzma has to go. So let's just compare his stats, Danny Green's stats, to DeMar DeRozan's. After all, they're both shooting guards as well, so DeMar DeRozan will be replacing Danny Green if he comes. So Danny Green averaged 8 points per game last year, 3.3 rebounds, and 1.3 assists. Another 6'6" shooting guard. He's 33 years old. So Danny Green, he didn't shoot as good as he usually does for 3-pointers last year, only shooting 36.7% and only 41.6% from the field, compared to DeRozan's 53%. But Danny Green, he brings a lot in the defensive end, and that's one thing with DeRozan. He doesn't do defense. As I said, he doesn't do 3-pointers, but he also doesn't do defense. And Danny Green, even when he's not hitting those threes, he plays defense. He's a good defensive player, good height for a guard, above average for height of a guard, even. But yeah, DeRozan, Frank Vogel would have to find a way to fit him into his defensive system, because that's one thing DeRozan doesn't do. DeRozan's just a plain scorer. He'd be that third star if they got him. Big three, another LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh kind of thing. LeBron, AD, and DeRozan. But anyway, and he also shot 68.8% from free throw last year, Danny Green. So a big downgrade from DeMar DeRozan's 84.5. Now the trade would be, as I said, it would definitely include Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green. Any big trade Lakers going to do this offseason is going to include those two guys. Now that wouldn't be enough to get the trade done for many reasons. The Spurs probably wouldn't accept that on their own anyway, but bad out of contracts. So possible players that we thrown into this trade are JaVale McGee, Quinn Cook, the number 28 first round pick, and even people talk about Taylor Tucker. Now, people are saying they want to keep Taylor, and I probably would. If you could keep Taylor, keep Taylor. but he's not gonna. I don't see him getting big minutes next year with the Lakers. You know, I just see him getting a small upgrade on what he got this year in the playoffs. So if he has to go, you know, you have to deeply consider it and maybe let him go. But as for JaVale McGee, you know, he's did great last year until the bubble in the playoffs where Dwight Howard, you know, he did outperform him and he got his starting spot, and JaVale wasn't involved in rotation. So if he has to go, you know, he can go. Did well though in the regular season, you know, no hate shorts with JaVale. And Quinn Cook, just with the salary, you know, to even that out. And that will probably get, let's just say, Kyle Kuzma, Danny Green, JaVale McGee, and Quinn Cook. That will get the deal done, I think. Or if you want to keep JaVale McGee, maybe the number 28 pick, I don't know. But Kyle Kuzma, Danny Green, Quinn Cook for sure, anyway. Now, as I said, the pros of this trade happening, DeRozan would be that third scoring option, as I said, behind LeBron and AD. You know, he would take the scoring load off LeBron, take some pressure off him going into his 18th season. You know, a shortened 72-game season. You know, a lot of games are going to be played. LeBron needs to be resting. He's going to be turning 36 in December. So he would allow LeBron to take some nights off during the regular season, take over the scoring. You know, let LeBron focus more on playmaking. LeBron will still get his 20-25 points per game easily. But like DeRozan will just take the pressure off. DeRozan, as I said, is one of the best mid-range scorers in the league, shooting 53% from there. And that's his bread and butter, mid-range shooter. You know, people are saying he keeps the mid-range game alive. I don't know. I don't focus on mid-range game that too much, but you can see from him the way that mid-range, more people that shoot 3-pointers. Look at the Rockets. You know, they're banned shooting mid-ranges pretty much. So he'd bring the mid-range scoring, which, you know, it's a dying art, people are saying. So he'd bring that, and you know, he wouldn't have the same pressure if he joined the Lakers. He wouldn't have the same pressure as he had in Toronto and San Antonio, because in those places he was the main man, number one scoring option, you know, the leader of their team. And with the Lakers, he wouldn't be the main man. You know, LeBron AD would be ahead of him. So the focus, you know, teams can't guard all of them. So the focus will be on LeBron AD. We have two top 5 players in the league. In my opinion, LeBron's the best in the league. Probably 2 top 3 players in the league. You know, you're gonna have to have your attention on those two, which will leave DeRozan open. You know, and he'd clean up. He could clean up now without that pressure on him, and not the same people guarding him. So they're the pros of the DeRozan deal happening. The cons, you could say, DeRozan, as I said, he doesn't take 3-pointers, which would mean, you know, the Lakers would need to go out for agency and to surround that team with 3-point shooters, because he doesn't shoot any threes. He's like Ben. I think he can hit them if you took enough of them, but he's not like Ben Simmons level. But he just doesn't take the threes. As I said, he shot less than 1 3 game in San Antonio last year. Bringing DeRozan would clog up the paint, as I said, if the Lakers don't surround him with 3-point shooters, and especially a center. I want to keep Dwight Howard, and I want him to start. But if we're going to get DeRozan, Dwight's going to be a bench player again. Bringing Serge back out with the mid-level exception, you know. People are saying, you know, Danilo Gallinari, Marcus Morris. Forget about that. We won't need him anyway for getting DeRozan. They're both scorers. They're all scorers, the 3 of them. DeRozan's better at them, much better than at scoring. So you'd have to bring Serge back with that mid-level exception, and that won't be easy. He's on, I think, like $23 million last year. So it won't be easy to get him out of Toronto. As I said, he's not a good defensive player. And though, as I said, Danny Green, he didn't shoot as good as he usually does in past years from 3. But you know, he's a very good defensive player for a guard. So DeRozan, as I said, Frank Vogel had to find a way to get him into that team in defensive wise, you know. But that's it then for that. Overall, I'm not against this trade at all, you know. I think we should go for it. Back to back. We're going to make big moves this off-season. I say go for it. As I said, he'd be that third scoring option. You take the load off LeBron, allow him to rest. Come playoffs then, LeBron be ready to rock and roll. Then DeRozan and AD. It works out. This could be a dynasty. This could be the big 3, you know. I don't see it just further the distance between other teams like the Clippers and Bucks, whoever else is challenging, the Warriors. You know, we'd have a big team still. You know, we're not losing any height. We would. Rob Pelinka would have to, you know, do some big trades during the offseason, do some more free agent signings, get some good vets in. You know, with the 3-point shooters. You know, another thing Rob Pelinka needs to focus on before we even go for this trade. Whoever we want to keep in free agency, who are ours from last year, like Markieff Morris, Rondo, KCP, Dwight, go for it, lock them up first, and then move on to DeRozan. Yep. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. Then I think we should go for it. I think if we do go for it, as I said, we have to go get a center that can shoot the 3 ball. Otherwise, the paint will get clogged up. But if we get the right players in this off season with DeRozan, this will work. This will be like, you know, people saying it might be like Miami, big 3 with Bron, AD, and Bosh, which would be lit, you know, in LA. But anyway, that's all I think about this Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'm out of here.